And one of the things I'm most excited about is that we get to chat with people from all over the world. We're introduced to great artists, and one of them that we've been trying to get a hold of from the UK is Miss Charlie Cole. And I listen to her music, and man, I tell you, it's instant crush. It is instant love, ladies and gentlemen. When you hear this woman's voice, we played some music for you before, and I think we got her ready to chat now. Hello, who dat?
Hi there.
Hi, Miss Charlie Cole. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's so good we've got this Facebook thing going. I can see you.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I look better on the radio, but we'll be doing all right. So let's do this. Introduce yourself proper, like. Tell folks who dat, where you at. Who is Miss Charlie Cole, and let's talk about your music.
Yeah, thank you. Well, yeah, I started playing about 20 years ago, but yeah, just let it slip a bit, I suppose. And then probably about 3 years ago, I made a kind of New Year's resolution with all my mates. They said, "Oh, what are you gonna do?" And I said, "Oh, I might give my music another go. I've had my kids, like I kind of hadn't had time for anything other than being a mum and being at home. So I started doing open mic nights, and a couple of the old guys said, "Oh, you should record a bit of this." So I said to my husband, "You know what? I'm just going to do one song," and then a year and a half later, that had turned into an EP, and I just couldn't put it down. I just had been writing songs for all these years, and I'd grown up really on Jimi Hendrix and Nirvana and Pearl Jam, and so the way I kind of wanted to make my music was all the things I loved about a song, like big guitars and big drums, and so I just went about making the music I always wanted to make. So yeah, my husband thought I just watched a bit too much Nashville, but I'm like, that's fine.
No,
Maybe I did. But I think it was just that when I watched that, and I just thought, because I felt like I was getting on a bit, and then it was my 40th last year, and I thought, you know what, in country and in that genre, there's no age limit. So I just thought for my 40th birthday, I got myself a Telecaster, and then, not looked back since, really. So yeah, so that's me. So I live in Dorset, just on the south coast of England, in a small town, and I make my music. I drop the kids off at school, and I'm just doing this now and seeing where it goes. So yeah, thanks for having me.
well, I love your music, and I have to thank Miss Brooke McCready for introducing y'all to
Yeah.
us. She's wonderful. What she's doing over at GenRev Music is fantastic as well. She's working with some of the greats in the industry. And to hear you talk about go from, because she's really come back to that rootsy country type vibe, which has kind of gotten lost here in the States for a little bit. And then hear you talk about go from the Hendrix to the country vibe it's pretty, it's amusing because, everybody's kind of, making that transition when it became pop country. Now they're going back to classic country. People kind of seem to be, migrating back toward country music. Is there a lot of country music out there in the UK?
There is, but it's, I guess, quite a lot of it is fairly traditional. Kind of, I guess, a bit pop country, but there's a lot more coming through now, which is a lot more Americana and a bit more alternative. And, when you mix that with a bit of sort of British rock, you get a real nice sort of explosion of sound. And I think that, like what you said about people going back to wanting to hear that real ballsy sort of music again, that is just quite raw. And there's one of the things with my producer we always bang heads about is that I always like when he sort of doesn't polish it too much and it sounds a bit edgy and a bit rough and a bit raw. And I kind of think there's a huge bracket of people that really miss that in their daily diet. So, I'm more than happy to get my stuff out there and, dose everyone up.
Well, look, we have 4 cuts. You sent us 4 cuts.
Yeah.
And every one of them to me are just, wonderful. It really is great stuff. Where are you having this done? Are you producing this at, yourself? Who's working on this? To give us a little background on this music, because I really
Yeah.
like the way the sound that's coming out of it.
Yeah, so I found there was a little studio pretty much at the bottom of my road in an industrial estate. So I just walked in there one day and I just said, I've got this sound in my head I want to make, but we just recently moved away from my kind of long list of musician friends. So I just needed to find people that would play the way I wanted it to sound. So I kind of just had to, it took a while, but I found some guitarists and a drummer and a bassist and just worked with them all individually, putting the layers down. And there was one song that I rewrote it 3 times because it just wasn't where it was supposed to go. And that's the first track on the EP, which is now my favorite because I know that was like a 3-track rewrite, But so the
Caught.
guys, they're all local. They're all just musicians around here in different bands, or so they play for different people. They play for me. So that's how I went about it. It took me a while. It took me about 3 months to find someone to play the banjo. So, but it was worth the wait.
I think so. I mean, it sounds like a labor of love that you put a lot into, a lot of
Yeah.
yourself. Now, you wrote all these tunes, or are they co-writes? You can come on through, man.
No, I wrote all of them. So they're kind of like some of them I wrote 10 years ago, some of them 15 years ago. Some of them kind of evolved as I started working with people, and my guitarist would come up with like just a really nice riff, and I'd think, I don't want to pull that back to where it was. I want to go with it. So yeah, but I wrote all of those tracks. That's all my handiwork. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how it ended up, how it was produced in the end. We kind of sat there with a fine-tooth comb, just making sure we didn't polish off too many of the edges because I wanted it to sound raw.
Right. It has, I don't know, it, trying to, I don't like putting music into like a particular category. It has there's a little bit of Bonnie Raitt in there, kind of like a little Patsy Cline. You have a really like a good vibe, a good groove about what you're doing. So back in the '70s, remember Linda Ronstadt was kind of doing that rock country thing. The Eagles were kind of in between rock and country, and I'm getting a little bit of that out of here from what I'm hearing on you, and I love the sound.
Yeah, it's hard like over here to try and put yourself in a genre because it's kind of, you kind of offend the country people that are waiting for something more traditional, and it's really hard. Some people say, oh, it's rock and it's this, it's that, and I'm not really sure. It kind of just is what it is. And I mean, my heart is kind of shaped by rock and grunge, but then I love the country songwriting and that heart and soul that's poured into it with the kind of harmonies and the bluesy aspect of it. So it just kind of all melts together, and I'm just glad I managed to get it into a bite-sized chunk.
Well, we're grateful that you decided to share it with us. That you
Right.
decided to, make us a part of this journey, this new thing that you're doing, and have you gotten airplay? What other stations are playing you? Are you getting it in the UK, or is Gumbo YaYa the first and only so far? Are we that privileged?
There's been a few. Planet Rock over here played it last week.
Okay.
So I was super chuffed with that. It was, I think because I grew up on Planet Rock stuff and that. So yeah, I was pretty happy they played it. And there's been some other radio stations locally that have played it. But BBC played my first single, so I'm just waiting to see whether they want to play the next ones. But it's harder, if I kind of apply under country and then I don't hear back, I'll apply under rock and hopefully get airplay.
Okay. Yeah, like I like Lady Wild. I like them all. Stand Up, Be Counted. Is there one particular song on here you think kind of defines, Charlie Cole? Like this is the song that best represents me. At this point, like getting
Yeah,
started.
it's the first one, which is actually the last one I did. So it kind of, that's the one that was like I rewrote 3 times, and that one to me is absolutely me in a nutshell, you know.
Caught
So
on the
I
Inside.
got on the inside, the first one, yeah, I love that one.
So what is it
So
about that is, is Charlie Cole?
it's got some beef in there, like it's got some welly. It's not holding back. You know, that's what I like about it. It's, if I imagine what the video could be like, it would just be motorbikes and like, kicking back and riding free. That's why I love it. When I hear it, I think, yes, that took me quite a lot to get that where I wanted it to be, but if someone said, what is your music? That's my music, that one. Yeah.
All right. Well, this is what I'd like to do if you'll let me. I'm going to have you be the DJ. I want you to introduce yourself, introduce the song, tell people they're listening to the Gumbo YaYa radio show, and we'll play that for the listeners. Take us to the
Great.
top of the hour, and then we'll come back. If you got time, we'll chat a little bit more after this.
I've got to do the school run, but I'll introduce the song.
Okay.
Got to go and get my kids.
All
But
right.
yeah,
So
do.
this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is Miss Charlie Cole. Like I said, introduce yourself, the song, the
Yeah.
Gumbo YaYa radio show, and then I guess we're going to let you go, and we'll play the song.
Sure, thank you. Yeah. Well, hey everyone, this is Charlie Cole. You're listening to the Gumbo YaYa radio show, and this is Caught on the Inside.